Well, well, that would be good. There was no need for people.
You live out there, don't even tell you have a quarter. Okay, yeah, very cool. Yes.
Finley, Josh Finley is his name, yeah.
All right, I'm trying to get live feed up here.
There it is.
And they're all this, I love this.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What's going on back
This, you know, every year you get another one. Last year they had like a mob. But they gave those to the third students. Because I got a bright blue and then a feathered blue and then this. But the
No problem.
Maybe
I'll say something about
I need to get the colors. All of them are a shade of blue. Yes.
It's 6:30.
Yeah, they're all.
Hey, welcome everyone. So we've got the live feed going here. There's some people on here. I hope you can hear me. If you can, if you're on the live feed, just message. I'll try to. Hopefully, I'll see if that'll help me see if we're getting any messages. But we'll go ahead and get started. See if the live feed catches up. But thank you all for joining us. Good group. We were sitting here about 15 minutes ago and there was nobody here.
Coming like
But I'm glad you guys, I'm glad you guys all came. And I want to introduce our special guests. We have Kevin Prentice and Alex. And I'm sorry, Alex, I didn't get your last name. Alex Gett. Alex Gett. Yeah. All right. Thank you. But we're here to talk about Ride with GPS. And more importantly, we're here to learn about Alex and Kevin. Kevin, if you're here, you know Kevin is an Ottawa native. So we're going to talk a little bit about growing up in Ottawa, getting into bikes, and sort of his journey to where he's at now at Ride with GPS. So I got in touch with Alex right when I opened the shop. Kevin, sorry. When I opened the shop, and Kevin contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm from Ottawa. Congratulations on opening the shop." And he's been really encouraging throughout, and we've stayed in touch, and it's been really cool. You've been a lot of help to us. We use Ride with GPS every week for all of our group rides. I am constantly on there making maps, doing stuff, and I've always been fascinated with the whole system. So I wanted to get Kevin here and talk a little bit about that, and also answer any questions that you all have about Ride with GPS. I get questions on a regular basis, and I do my best to try to answer them. But we have the professionals here that know all about it, and they're going to be able to answer any question they have, maybe demo some things, talk about some of the new products that have coming up. So that's the intro. Can anybody on the live feed hear me? We're hearing a little bit of background chatter, but if you've got your speaker on, there might be some background chatter. Do you have your volume on there? Is that it now? Okay. Well, we'll just keep going. So first of all, let's start with just a little introduction. So if you guys can maybe just talk a little bit about, who you are, introduce yourselves to the group. Start with that.
I'm Alex from Portland, Oregon. I worked with Ride with GPS for 5.5 years with Kevin. I am in charge of our clubs and events and tour operators and tourism bureaus and bike shops who use our software, working with them to make sure that they have everything they need. answer all the questions they have.
Did you grow up in Oregon or?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
born and raised in Portland.
Okay. So have you always been a cyclist or did that start
More intently in the last decade,
Okay.
but growing up, played basketball and
Yeah.
did track and field and cross country, and then as running kind of wore out, cycling got more interesting, and
Okay.
tried to replace as many car trips with bike trips, and then that turned into riding the bike on the weekend,
Yeah.
and then finding gravel roads to ride on, and going on overnights. Now it's just kind of a core part of my life.
Okay. Is this your first time in Ottawa?
First time in Ottawa, first time in Kansas.
Oh wow.
First time near here. I've been to Stillwater.
Okay.
That's the closest I've been
Okay.
to this part of the country.
Well, welcome. You got a good guy to show you around. So if I didn't mention it, they're both here for Unbound. You guys are going to be setting up a booth, right? Talking right to GPS all weekend. So this is kind of just a warm up. You're going to be talking to a lot of people, meeting a lot of people. So that'll be fun. And you're going to go on a little bike ride tomorrow, right? Is that still planned?
If you've got a bike.
I got a bike for you. We got you everything. So.
Yeah, training goes though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like big training.
Yeah. So Kevin, tell us a little bit about your growing up in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Kind of how you know, your story and how you got there.
Yeah, Kevin was born and raised here. I went to Oregon State University for college in 2009.
Okay.
So that's when I left here.
Okay. What caused you to go to OSU?
I never had a good answer to that.
Okay.
It was the farthest geographical place from Ottawa, Kansas.
Okay. Okay.
Not really.
Is that how it is?
No. I don't know why. I just applied to some places and it's a little bit at the end.
Okay.
That's what it was.
All right. So you did 4 years there.
Yeah. Didn't really ride. Well, I rode here in town.
Okay.
Either to get into trouble or get out of trouble.
Right.
I never like as a serious cyclist.
Okay.
I didn't really do that until I kind of got back to Oregon. Just started commuting in Portland to work.
Okay.
Similar to kind of just what Alex said. Just started commuting more, riding more,
Right.
recreationally riding more. And then just became a thing.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how you guys both ended up at riding GPS. You're telling me a little bit of an interesting story.
Yeah. So 10 years ago, I was an analyst at a chemical company, and it's just like a whatever job. I saw a post on Craigslist, part-time customer service of bicycle technology.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. I can just pay $100. And I was working early. I was working like 6:30 to 3:30, so I had a little bit of time after. So like, yeah, maybe I'll play this. But I couldn't. If it was like Portland's a big city, if it was far away, I couldn't like commute an hour after my regular job to go work X number of hours to then commute an hour back home or whatever. My wife wouldn't have gone that. She would have killed me, understandably.
Yeah.
So I spent forever and ever trying to find out where their office was because it was just a two-man shop at the time. It was just under Zach and Colin.
Yeah.
And it ended up, it was right around the corner from my current office. I didn't even ride my bike there for my regular job. I just walked it out and walked it around the block into the government building.
Okay.
That's the only reason I applied.
Yeah.
Or that's no reason. So did that and started in August of 2013, working like 3 hours a day at night, just doing online customer service.
Okay.
Answered tickets, answered support tickets.
Yeah.
No phone. We've never done phone support.
Okay. Everything's
Just
email.
been email based. And that was it. And there was by myself and then another Kevin actually, was our mobile engineer. He was hired the same time business support.
Okay.
us for a while. And now we're 31, about to be 32, about to be more.
Yeah. So at that time, mapping on cell phones or software was pretty unique, right? I mean,
Didn't have a mobile app. We didn't have a mobile app. We
Okay.
started with the website, the route map on the
Okay.
website as a companion to Garmin units. So Garmin released,
right.
or the E-Trexes, the very original old school, big, bulky GPS devices.
Right. Okay.
But Garmin Connect didn't really exist. There wasn't, right, I say old school, yes.
Yeah.
They're still very popular.
Yeah.
There are a number of them we have a number of them in our office. Long distance people love them to death. Battery power. Yeah. So we started with route planning because there was no route planning software to like plan routes.
Yeah.
And our owners at the time were kind of riding bikes, and they're also motorcycle riders,
Oh.
big moto guys.
Right.
And they were just very interested. Zach was as a senior project at the University of Oregon. Oh, I'm going to make a route planner for
Okay.
motorcycle rides and bicycle rides. And that's how it kind of became a thing. And at the same time, Strava started, but they started with the mobile app and not the web side.
Right. Okay.
And then we kind of started to do that
Yeah.
to each other. And then in 2014, we released our Android mobile app.
Right.
And iOS shortly after.
Okay.
So, yeah, so originally it was born to plan routes to get those routes on.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like they were pretty visionary to kind of have the idea, even before people knew that we had these computers with this and the technology on our bikes, because the GPS devices were pretty minimal at the time, right? I mean,
Pretty minimal. Yeah. There's saw a very small niche need for playing software and files on our devices.
yeah.
That's our bread and butter. That's our cornerstone in the web route.
Yeah, you guys seem like you haven't really strayed away from that too much. I mean, yeah, you mentioned Strava, but to me, the difference is they're heavily focused on tracking your ride, tracking statistics, tracking your power output, that kind of stuff, and a little bit more of the competitive, having the segments or whatever they call them and that kind of stuff. And you guys are more about route planning, finding routes, helping people find cool places to ride, that kind of stuff. Is that how you guys see it as well?
Yeah. I think they are kind of a social company.
Yeah.
They would even claim they want to be the biggest social media for the athletic community or whatever.
Yeah.
We would think we're more a product-driven company for exploration, for planning, for navigation, and for discovery.
Yeah. Okay. And some of the things you guys have done in the last few years, as far as having the what do they call them, the routes, the ride reports, is that what they call them?
Yeah, we've got ride reports.
Ride reports where somebody can go out and do a cool ride, write it up, share it, and then other people can find it and do the same route, whatever. That in the last few years, is that sort of been the focus? Is those kinds of things?
Some of those things, yeah. Right now, our mission is content and community. So it's more creation of content, and also, but more so discovery of content, letting our community discover better content. Whether that's discovery really cool ride reports in the area, or just getting routes that we just recently rolled out reviews and ratings for routes. So instead of sifting through, millions of routes, you don't care about that.
Right.
It's like Google. Nobody goes to the 5th page of Google search results. Like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
You never leave the first page.
Yeah.
So our experience on our platform, we're finding content should be similar. So we have been doing work to just get the best of the best stuff in front of people and enable them to kind of easily find it and easily use it.
Yeah. And I think, I travel a lot, and when I travel someplace and I was looking for somewhere to ride, it's surprisingly difficult to even a place like Ottawa where we have 2 major trails coming through town. A lot of people show up there and they have no idea how to even find a trail, where to go. There's all these websites and you can search all over and drive yourself crazy.
Right.
But having somewhere like Riding GPS where you can reliably go and find really cool routes. One of the heat map thing. That you guys
So
do. That's another way.
Start demoing stuff later. Yeah, that's probably.
So seeing where other people are riding.
Yeah.
That's been really interesting. The other way we've used that is it's been really interesting to see if you heat map our area, you see these major lines where the trail is, and you see all of our routes because we're going out every week and everybody's hitting there and recording them. So you start to develop this pattern of routes. It's pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, it's really prominent for stuff like Mid-South.
Yeah.
You can literally see
The
the year's routes.
Yeah.
With the very
Yeah.
strong heat. Same thing with Unbound.
Import,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. And if we talk about technology, there's some stuff that artificially inflates and deflates the heat to kind of produce the appropriate stuff.
Yeah.
So if we show.
Okay. Yeah. So one other feature I wanted to ask about, and then I'll open it up to questions because I know people have some questions. The feature you guys released, I think it was maybe 2 years ago or something. the showing the surfaces on the maps. That was really handy for us because we're always, everything we do is a combination of trail, gravel, and pavement, and we put it right out there. So for people to see that. The challenge with that is I don't know that all the data that we have is still that accurate. So, we see a lot of paved roads and dirt and otherwise. How can you help us understand how we can maybe help fix that? So some of those roads we can reclassify them.
Yeah, so everybody, us included, we get our surface data from OpenStreetMaps.
Yeah.
Big mapping program out of Europe. And yeah, it's not accurate all the time. But OpenStreetMaps is open source.
Yeah.
So anybody can go in and make edits and suggestions to get them approved. And so you can change the data. You can get the data changed yourself. If you go and you see you're planning or you write something, well, this is unpaid.
Yeah.
You can go and you can make a suggestion at OpenStreetMap, and then they'll see it, and they generally approve everything. Maybe.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. So we're constantly, we have mapping tiles on the server and we have routing on the server. So we're constantly updating those. So if OpenStreetMap makes a visual change, then that will get visually changed when we do an update to our route planner. And then we're always updating the routing, and then it's shortly after the routing will update. And this is for something like if a road is closed, or if we have different routing types, walking, biking, driving. Like over in the UK, there's bridle ways, and you can't bike, you can only walk on them.
Yeah.
Somebody will suggest this isn't biking, this is walking. That would update in the routing, and then our cycling mode wouldn't route onto that.
Okay.
Because OSM would tell them it's restricted.
Right.
So those are the types of.
So we just need to get educated on how to go and do that.
Yeah, we have
Start
stuff.
doing
We have
it.
stuff on our site that tells you how to go for OSM.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll start working on it. I think they're getting better, but we'll start working on it. Great. Okay. I'll probably have other questions as we go through, but maybe I'll go into sort of feature-wise. What are some of the things you guys are working on that you can tell us about, or maybe new things that just came out that you can tell us about, or show us? I think.
Yeah. We
Either way,
definitely.
yeah. And then we'll open it up to questions, and hopefully the technology will work there and we'll be able to get this up on the screen.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
With the ride with GPS, you guys are gonna come out with something like my phone doesn't last. So do you use that constantly? I have to download it to Wahoo or something else, of course, to get it to last. You ride with GPS and come out with something that you.
No plans for hardware.
Okay. Because I you have to buy something else for the phone will last 200 miles.
Yeah. And I don't know how to combat that argument very much. I've never had a GPS device. I've ridden my phone for 10 minutes, so I have a different experience. All the time, I run all the time. I use my phone all the time, and my phone lasts. But some phones don't, and some phones, like the shock, if you're riding gravel, and some people claim it will affect the camera. The stability of the camera lens over the course of time, and the phone camera will get worse over time. I haven't experienced that. I just, try to take steps to minimize the harshness of everything on my phone. So I download everything for offline use. I try to keep my screen off as often as possible. I ride in airplane mode, so my battery's not being drained. If you want to keep your phone on, our app even has an offline mode. So our app doesn't power saver mode, stuff like that.
I will tell you your software compared to Garmin. When we did the Unbound last year, people were losing their signal out there in the open range on Garmin.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, where do we go? I'm like, well, how did GPS?
There you go. Yeah.
So I would say your hardware is pretty accurate. Your software is really accurate.
I'm like you, I want my phone to be my phone in case I ever need it out there, and I want my Garmin or whatever device to be my bike computer.
Yeah. So people can use it as their dedicated device and not spend money on a hardware, a Garmin or a Wahoo, or they're good companions, and it's a good backup. Download it for, if those people would have downloaded the route for offline use on their phone, they wouldn't have been in a pickle.
Right.
Because they could have just gotten it out. It's already downloaded for offline use. They don't have to use their phone service. They don't have to use,
Right.
Almost no battery because it just works in airplane. Everything works in airplane. It's the Apple TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's seeing you. It
Yep.
says it's the wrong code.
Really?
2390.
Oh, something flashed.
So do you, how do you guys do like your elevation? Because it's always like kind of a running joke and
It's
Yeah.
which isn't like an awful thing, but it's just kind of a funny thing. We're like, oh, it says it's this, and then
500 feet more.
or
500
yeah.
feet more, right?
Is there any other?
The biggest, there's biggest like predictor or biggest, I'm losing the right word, is what device recorded the elevation.
Mhm.
Even like from Wahoo to Wahoo would be different, from Garmin to Wahoo, from your phone, from his iPhone to my phone, all of it will be different. So yeah, everything's always going to be different to a certain degree because we're starting with different data.
Right.
And everybody does their best to try and smooth it out. So we have servers that have elevation data on it. We sent them off to the National Geological Survey Institute and downloaded their elevation data from the space station.
Mhm.
So
It's as close as
we
it.
think it's pretty okay,
Mhm.
right? But I would say we're not right and they're not wrong.
I always go with what's more.
Right. Exactly.
Take credit for it.
Right. Exactly. So we're all just trying, and nobody gets it exactly.
Well, yeah, like my Apple Watch is always different from a Wahoo. And,
Yep.
yeah, it's just,
That's all things that'll just get better over time, I'm sure.
I've noticed like your surfaces are better now. Like it seemed like before, when I first started riding, like in 2020, it was like, oh, mostly paved, and I'm like, really? Now it's really gotten very detailed on what surface.
Good,
You
that
know,
would
it's
be-
much better.
Yeah.
Good. So that would be
I
people,
noticed
Yeah.
that.
people
People are updating.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Good.
So, okay, so as a rider, we can do that.
Yeah. So when we were talking about the open street map, so somebody around here, wherever you're
Oh,
riding,
okay.
is going on and saying, "Hey, open street map," whatever.
Like a Wikipedia kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't understand that.
Is that brick? I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
but
They have 27 different road classifications.
Oh, great.
It
I
took
got
a lot
right
of time.
around
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was weird stuff. Class 2
Okay.
rubble highway, which is
Yeah.
really bizarre.
We should do that here in town. We have one route that tries to hit all the brick roads here in town. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, my folks live on that one, so.
Yeah, it's about 8 miles. I think.
I guess I didn't understand when you were talking about that.
Yeah.
Be able to edit, that's good,
Yeah.
but only on computer, can you edit that, right? Like you can't do it like from your phone, right, with GPS?
No, because we don't have the data. So
Okay.
You basically have to submit it and then somebody has to approve it. So it takes a little bit.
Okay.
somebody's looking into it on your end.
Yeah,
on OpenStreetMaps.
Okay.
yeah.
And we're just constantly downloading
It is.
their data, down. So whenever they make updates, then she'll be later, we get there. Okay.
So you got some, yeah, so we've got right GPS up here. Let's, yeah, what do you guys want to talk about?
I don't know, we could hop into the route planner, I guess. You want to do a search on? Yes, we got it. All right. So, RWGPS Cycle is a new map we're slowly releasing right now, which is replacing our old RWGPS raster tiles, which were like low-res tiles. These are now becoming high-definition tiles, and they're going to enable us to do lots and lots and lots of cool stuff. Alex, just click wherever. I wanted to see. Click on the Flint Hills Trail just to see.
There you go.
Zoom in on the one. I wanted to see if we brought the street names up above. Zoom in on that, Alex. Okay, so we're just about to, one of the biggest feedback is that street names get buried by the heat map, like routes.
Right.
And that's going to change almost imminently.
Okay.
We're going to bring it above. Street names will be above
Okay.
all of that stuff.
So you won't have to scan across to look for that street.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, for sure. You want to turn the heat map on, Alex? Yeah, so we've got global heat maps. So this is, 2 years of running data of all of
Okay.
our publicly loaded trips from our community.
So you guys are responsible for a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we go back 2 years just for kind of relevancy's sake. You know, roads get closed down, new roads get built, people's behaviors shift over time. This is more prevalent in like a city where like a new bike lane would get built or some kind of infrastructure gets put in, and you would see the heat dissipate and shift over to something else over time. So if we just kept heat for forever in perpetuity, then there would be like weird heat that isn't relevant. It would be heat from years and years and years ago. We wouldn't show that.
So you guys are actually, so that's based on rides recorded on ride with GPS, right?
With our app, but also trips uploaded from Garmin's and Lines.
Okay,
So,
right. So all of that.
tens and tens and tens and tens of millions.
And you're storing all that data. And if a city or municipality or the state or whatever was trying to do needs information for grant funding or anything, can they get access to that data?
We don't do that.
Okay.
No, we don't.
Okay.
Strava had the Strava Metro.
Yeah.
Thing. It's just kind of
I understand.
it's a liability-ish
Concern about that.
thing. It's just not in our business.
Yeah, but it's funny that they come to me and they're like, should we put like the little trackers down on the street to record traffic? I'm
Oh,
like,
right.
man, you have all this information available. Why can't you?
I have a question.
Yeah.
The open source, can they look at a heat map to tell, like I was trying to change something and I suggested they just look at a heat map and they can see
Where they're at,
I
I
guess.
I mean, they could visually, but it's not totally representative. So and this is what I said. Maybe if we get into this, I'll explain. Zoom in, Alex, a little bit, or go to like an obscure area and do the global heat map, right? So you see the global, you see, cities are burning red. There's millions and millions and millions of trips, et cetera, et cetera. So go farther out, Alex. To like, I don't know, maybe by Japanese Hall or something, just like an obscure area. So, looking at some of the streets in Portland, millions and millions of trips just on the Hawthorne Bridge or on 17th Avenue. So it's burning red. So if everything was like a 1-to-1 ratio, then, cities would always look like they were on fire.
Yeah,
nothing would exist, anything else. You wouldn't be able to see it. So, like, everything is in a square. And so, say there's like a square here, we use the heat from the 8 surrounding squares to influence the heat of the middle square. So if there's a square, here's a square, and if none of these have heat, but we detect trips in here, we'll inflate the heat a little bit in order for it to become visible. Because that's in the like rural areas. That's really where the heat is kind of important. It's important in cities, so people can look and see where like locals are riding or commuting, which is a good indicator of bike infrastructure, bike lanes, stuff like that. And then in obscure areas, does anybody ride here? I want to know, does this route go through? Does this road go through? Are riders actually making it through? So we need to kind of bring the heat up a little bit in order for it to be visible.
When you had Ottawa up there, you could tell where we're riding.
Yeah.
You could tell on there pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like Cherry Street,
Yeah.
nothing else was lit up at Cherry Street right down there.
Yeah.
Because people go on Wilson, and hardly anybody uses Cherry Street except our ride.
Yeah.
And from here, you could tell everybody goes, although they go on Main Street some, you could really see where people go jog on
Up the park.
on Lookers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over to Wilson.
Yeah. So that's really helpful in trying to plan it around to.
Or even if you'd be in a new place and want to go, want to know how to get from here to there, maybe you see routes that travel more than others.
Yeah.
You might take those.
And so with the RWGPS cycle map, we finally been able, I haven't even been able to talk about this. I've been working on a big marketing release because in the future we're going to talk about this. Do that. We are. Can you go to Portland again? I want to go to a place with like, so finally we now have in one map, because we have on one of the maps, you can keep the heat map on. We've got, it's more so for mobile because, so we're on map right now. This is Google Maps. It uses Google's routing service. And this is great because it has Google's bike infrastructure.
Right.
So he clicks bike pads on. There we go. You've got solid lanes for dedicated bike infrastructure. If you zoom in, you've got like dotted lines for things like sharrows. So it's not like an actual bike lane or something. We have sharrows. It's like whatever. But in the mobile app, we can't have Google Maps in the mobile app. So now our WGPS cycle gives us our heat map, so you can see where people are riding in city or town. And now it combines it with Google. We have Google's bike infrastructure on this map as an overlay as well.
Okay.
So now you can it's like double proofing something. So if you were to go to like Kansas City, and you've never been to Kansas City, you could turn on the heat map and then you could check it. You know, you could, okay, so here's a dotted line. I know that that's something. That's a share. That's a place that cyclists should, and it's glowing with heat more than any other street. It's a 99% chance that's something that you probably want to ride on, because it has something that's for cyclists and other cyclists are riding there. Yeah. And so we've had that in Google Maps on web, but this is going to give it to us in mobile, so you can just whip out your phone on the go and be able to see that information as well. And that's we like safety things, and from our community and feedback that we get all the time, safety is always at the top of the list. Yeah. So we sit down and say, what can we actually do to help this, to assuage these concerns that people have? And this is one of them. This is a big one, especially on the phone, because anybody can install the app for free. Open up the recording screen, start recording, and look at stuff. And our heat map is free in the mobile app and the recording screen too, so you can get access to that.
When you use the term share road, you're talking about a share road that has no bike lane and is a shared.
Yeah,
Right?
so and there's a little painted person on the bike. Yeah, we call it share road.
I'm more of a destination bike. I guess you bike fitness here. But like when you go to Kansas City and I'm driving, you see those share roads, especially in the newer parts of where streets have been redone or something like that. But they almost seem dangerous to me because they're single lane roads, they're pretty narrow, and it just looks. So can you differentiate on your map between your share road and a bike lane road?
Yeah.
Solid line is
solid
bike
line.
lane.
Solid
Painted
line.
bike lane.
Yeah, painted bike lane. Dotted would be Sharrow or like secondary.
And then
So if you're concerned about that, you just try to follow the.
Yeah, and I live down
main line
here,
too.
right? So I know this. I take this all the time. I take this to the office. This is 17th. This is bike lane all the way. It loops right across the tracks. It's 7th bike lane. This is the Springwater corridor. This is a dedicated pedestrian path. But I know that these roads here, I even know that this is a cutoff. Like the painted bike lane literally ends right there, and then it picks back up. And what is that, Gladstone? That Gladstone right there, street.
And that's why that's so important though. So if you're, looking for a specific type of bike infrastructure or whatever, you can at least, try to leverage it as much as possible.
And if you really, really want to be concerned, Alex, let's grab our little best friend. Even in the non-Google Maps, we have Street View that you can utilize.
Okay.
So you can still
drop it down.
You can drop them down, double check.
Say, there you
Yeah, lots of cars.
they're all parked.
So what's that in? That's in Google Maps or is that?
No, but we are able to, since we pay exorbitant amounts of money to Google, we are able to integrate some of their services into other layers. So you can use the RWGPS cycle map, you can use other OSM-based maps, and you can use it with Google Street View.
That's pretty helpful when you're trying to plan.
Yeah, so like Alex, go to a different map, Alex, and go to one of, so we have a bunch of different styles, so you can go to, so here's OpenStreetMap's kind of standard map, and you can still grab the little street map, street view, in a non-Google map.
See, I don't know how many people are like me, but I use Ride with GPS largely because you use it. And
Yeah.
When we go on a ride, I want that map. So you download it, and I usually do it from my computer rather than my phone. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it's just plug it in.
Yeah.
And I'm losing my train of thought. I guess
You probably didn't know that all these features existed, right?
well,
So,
that was, I might like to, but I don't plan routes.
Yeah.
I pretty
Rely on
much
me to
use
do
it for the weekend.
Okay.
I pretty much use
Sure.
it for, group ride,
Right.
so that we know where we're going, and or, oh, we went on that group ride last week, that's a pretty good route. I go on a train ride, by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and go on those, but I even get those mixed up. So do I need to, here's a random question, do I need to follow OBT, Ottawa Bike and Trail?
Sounds
Yeah.
like you need to inspect some things.
yeah.
You need to inspect some things. So go back to Ottawa, Alex. We have an inspect tool in, well, probably every one of our maps.
See, mine usually, like right now, it's set up my activity.
Sure, yeah.
And then if I go to following, I'm not even sure, something pops up, but how do I
See,
get
I wonder if
Ottawa
he's-
Bike and
I
Trail?
wonder if he's joined the club, your club.
Probably not, yeah. So I have a club account, and I
That
do think
would
that's a
be-
little bit tricky in terms of, or maybe I'm just not doing a good job of explaining to people, because I have one space where all of my routes are, and I can even do a page that combines all the routes so you can see all of them on one page.
I've looked.
And I need to be able to share that with everybody. I
Right.
think I'm doing a good job.
Okay, so you can. You also have an auto approval code you can send out to everybody,
Okay,
and you can click it, become approved, and then it will link his account to your account.
okay.
It's like bookmarking your account, and you can go on.
Just paying for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be for my personal account.
You
Or is
Well,
that
no,
my
your
personal
OBT account.
Okay.
Yeah, that account.
So,
Okay.
That's
So I
is
need
that under the collection?
you
I
could
have
see
some
his,
collections,
you
yeah.
could see his collections. If we switch to the mobile phone as part of this, you'll be
Okay.
able to see. It'll be
Yeah.
right on your homepage. It'll say organizations.
That's something I have looked for is all our rides.
Yeah,
When I want to do a training ride by myself, you look for those.
and I can put a page on my website also with my collection. I can embed my collection on my website. So yeah, I need to make that easier for you guys to go back and
In
call
lieu of that,
Yeah, let's do this.
maybe turn the heat map on, Alex. Let me see. Well, if you don't know that, you definitely don't know about the right-click menu. So here's the heat map on. So we have a right-click menu in the route plan. It's got all of probably our best stuff in there. If you go all the way down to the bottom, you can click this inspect routes here. So what this will do is
Oh, there we go.
make a little bullseye. And if
There's
you-
all my routes.
Exactly. So scroll in, well, I guess scroll in for just a second, Alex, to show the little circle, the radius. So what this is we draw a little radius here. And then what we do over here is we return the most popular routes and rides that pass through that circle. So now if Alex zooms back out and then starts hovering down this list, you'll see it select a different. And these are all different routes and rides that you could click. You could add to the route planner and start editing yourself, or you could click open and then send to your Strava wallet.
I stumbled on that, but I don't think,
And you have it on the mobile app too.
yeah,
You ran it the other day.
and I don't think that, I think I've had trouble finding a list of OBT rides on there.
Yeah, and this wouldn't just
It wouldn't be just mine.
just his. It
But
would
if you-
definitely be
right.
some.
Yeah. If you
Well,
look at
I-
ones that, if you zoomed in on the right at Ottawa Bike and Trail and zoomed on the street right behind us,
Yeah, I see a lot of
you would
those
see it,
rides.
yeah. But that's where they all start. So inspect Walnut Street right here or something, or right there. Yep, those are almost all of our routes probably right there. But that's one way to do it.
Yeah, and I have seen lists of routes and they don't have a lot of our rides on it. They must have
they'll have others too.
Yeah.
So if we're following you and we run a route that's not on there, like I'll run out with another map or something.
Yeah.
Back road, will that save it on this route?
If you save it publicly,
Okay.
it would make it into the heat map data. And this isn't purely off the heat map data, because the heat map is just trips, no routes. But inspect will return popular routes and rides.
So
if
it's
you
based
just-
on usage or whatever.
Yeah, there's a number of factors that weight things. So if you just went out and did one ride, probably not going to show up there.
Next question. Unlike Strava, I can make a route. And you know what I'm saying? Can I do the same thing on this?
Yeah.
I can make a route and know what's gravel and go to streets. And
Oh yeah. So if you're,
create
Yeah,
a
the route planner.
yeah. So you just clicks clear map. And,
I'll click where I want to start and then click along the roads that I want to follow.
Okay.
And that's on the
Very
free version,
similar.
right? You can say, yeah, so I get that question a lot, it's like, well, do I have to pay for it? But there's a lot of stuff in here. that
Oh,
you
this
don't-
is worth paying for. I mean,
No,
this
it's
is-
free.
this is-
Hey.
Don't
Prepaid,
don't
yeah.
listen to him.
Right.
They like it for you.
I mean, what I'm saying is to have the information available. to
Right.
Have those, to me, it's.
Yeah, it's all that data.
what else? Custom queues. You know?
Free time.
Custom queues are one of our more popular things that are kind of unique to us. So as you create a route, you'll see on the left, queue sheet, these are all the turn-by-turn directions.
Okay.
Left on whatever, right on whatever. So we have a custom queue option where you can click anywhere on the route line and add in your own information.
So they had that at Elrod Surf down in Winfield.
Mhm.
When we came to a highway crossing, they had danger
Yep, that's exactly right.
and things like that. And I have never had that before on a ride, like where on a planned route, a ride, they don't have that most of the time. So I was like, that must be something new and interesting. So it was kind of nice.
Old and interesting.
Yeah.
We've had it, I mean, for the 10 years that I've been here, it was one of the first things in there. Heavily used by events
Yeah.
for that type of information. Aid station coming up. We've had pro teams use them for like feed zones and to get riders into various positions. It's used for, an infinite number of different things.
One thing I found really handy is sometimes you'll draw a route and you go from this place on the road to this place, and it'll take you around here. It's, for some reason, you need to go to OSM and say these roads are connected, but it doesn't know the roads are connected.
Yeah.
So what you have to do then is just click that draw lines.
Yeah, so there's
You know,
drop
one
lines.
spot that gets mixed up all the time is Prairie Spirit Trail going under I-35 where their jog is.
Yeah,
It'll send you like around to the truck stop.
yeah.
Is that the one that's right out of town?
Yeah, right.
Do that, because I was planning a run for tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I was like, do I want to go this way or do I want
Yeah,
to
right
go
here.
towards
Just look
Rantoul?
down south.
Oh, that's Rantoul.
Okay, I'm talking about right here, this little jog here.
Oh,
It
gotcha.
gets completely messed
So is
up
there-
sometimes. Sometimes it goes like up this street and down and around.
Huh. Try to plan on that. We'll switch some map types.
The problem is the trail runs right beside the road.
Yeah.
In that section.
So is this normal or is this?
Yeah, that's right.
This
That's
is
the right way. If you do a
Switch
return
to-
trip on that, it'll probably come the other way. It'll probably mess up.
No, okay. Do an undo a couple of times.
Not always.
And then go to Google. Well, no, this is a good thing. So now we just
Yeah.
switch to Google Maps,
Okay.
which is using a different routing engine.
Okay.
Okay, that one did it okay. Return trip. Oh,
Yeah.
so there's
Yeah.
a
See it.
return.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Oh, yeah, weird. Huh, yeah. So
It's probably
that's
no-
good that you know that though, because a lot of people don't know that. If you're
Just give me the extra
switching,
mile.
Yeah.
yeah, you can get yourself out of those little weird situations by changing the routing type here.
Okay.
Or switching map, terrain, satellite, hybrid. Those are all Google-based maps using Google's routing and the rest of the site.
Okay.
And
So
then-
when you're creating the route, you can change the route type and it'll use different.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's like when we're from, we have like seasonal road closures.
Okay.
And I guess and Google's really good about this because departments of transportation send Google information.
Okay.
Always, constantly every day, like road construction, road closed, stuff like that. But also like seasonal road closures. So Google downloads those and updates their run, and we're always updating, so we get those as well. So
Okay.
like the most famous road in Oregon is the McKenzie Pass, bikeway,
Okay.
bikeway and highway. And in the wintertime, it's totally closed to cars. There's 2 gates, and you won't be able to. Google doesn't allow you to route on it outside of the open season.
Okay.
But if I switch to OSM, you can.
Okay.
They don't go to that kind of granular level of detail. Custom keys bid. What are we on time here?
Yeah, we got just a few more minutes. I want to make sure we get any questions that we've answered. I kind of am not able to see the questions on the live feed, so if anybody can, let me know.
Let's see. Let me go to the rides page. There we go. Alex, do you have any photos? Do you want to go to? You do. So we've slowly been. Used to be all lists. You'd say trips. You'd have a list of your rides. You'd create routes. You'd have a list of your routes. And we've slowly been converting everything to a map interface.
So let's say I'm traveling to Denver. And I want to ride my bike out there and find some biking trail out there. I could pull it up on your thing out there in Denver and find.
This would be
I
right. This would be This page would be different. You would go to our find page on the web. We would prefer you to on your mobile app go to the Explore page.
Okay.
And open it up. Go over to Denver. That's a new interface. It's slick. Those are the best of the best routes and rides.
The Wi-Fi is really poor here, so.
I did that when I went to Santa Fe. It was
Good.
really super helpful.
And in the Explore page, you can long press on the map, and you can use the inspect tool, and you can drill down. It's got everything all in that one page.
Yeah.
And we're actually working on the find page on web. We're converting that into more of our Explore mobile page. The find page now is like our worst, oldest coded page.
Okay.
So we've been working on it for months and months. And we're getting pretty close to releasing a brand new page. I would, in the app, go to Explore, search on Denver, and it should be pretty easy to find something.
Where's Explore?
Down at the bottom. Oh, you're gonna say find.
Okay, well,
Oh yes. That one.
so like here when I did that, it says no results, trying to search. Find Denver.
Your hand out, I think, maybe they need more hand.
Try to like do route type.
No, you shouldn't. You should just be, maybe. Well, I just want to get
Because maybe my phone's set up some way it's like different than.
There was a weird delay on it,
Okay.
but now it's.
Are you an Android or?
We had an iPhone.
Yeah, there's a real delay, but now you've got inspect. Yeah, so now everything's, kind of, I don't know.
So if you go to Explore like that, you have all these boxes, but how do you?
So if you tap, you bring this box up, then you can swipe through everything, right, and bring it down. So,
We could change the mileage in there.
yeah, and then you can hit the filters up there, and like, I want an unpaved route that's 10 to 20 miles long.
There you go. Yeah.
Here we go.
See all that.
Did you update the app yet?
Oh, boy. That must be frustrating because there are so many things in here, and I'm sure most people don't know about
It plagues us. We know we're well aware.
Yeah, but you have training videos and everything else, but there's so much. It's still hard to get people to.
It's even more focus.
Well,
Because you shouldn't have to watch a training video.
Right. Yeah. It should be obvious.
And for me to want to dive into that, that's why I don't really do it, because I use it mostly for the club ride.
But that's okay too. It makes it super easy when we do a club ride. just send it out to 100 people and they all know the route, you know, so
Absolutely.
it's fine that people use it.
But then I want to go on a ride
Yeah,
and proceeding our conversation tonight about putting in a plug thing.
Yeah. needs to be a little.
You know,
easier.
yeah, and especially, I tend to plan it on my computer because it's easier than the phone.
Yeah.
But it would be nice, I mean, if I'm here and nobody shows up and I want to go on a ride, you know, then it'd be nice for.
The auto approval code that he's gonna send out will solve.
We'll get there, we'll perfect that, yeah.
Well,
These guys helping
Alex,
out.
do you want to show it now?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to go to like just an org? So once you click this auto approval code, do you want to do it on your phone? Sorry. I was gonna have you go to just an orgs page.
Oh, okay.
Is it tough to get the phone? So yeah, this is what a traditional club would do. So there's an organization's thing right there, and then once you're approved, you'll see his account there. You'll click it, and then all of his events.
Oh, there it is, collection.
All of his
routes.
routes, all of his collections, and you'll have access.
So I just need to send that out there. Okay.
All right. Yep. There you go.
I will do that tomorrow.
I think we're gonna look at the show map here, Kevin.
Oh yeah, we could as a less like technical, or I don't know. It's looking at something that's not like a tool. Something I really like. We've converted everything to like map view stuff. So Alex will put a show map here, and what we've done is stuck all, your personal heat map of rides, stuck them all on a map. But what we also did was we geolocated all your photos as well. So I don't know if you can take photos of your phone. If you have an iPhone, you have like a places album, and it shows all your photos wherever you take them. This is kind of it's the same thing, but it also has like your entire ride history. So I really like looking at this from a couple of different reasons. One, it's kind of like this is me represented as a cyclist.
Yeah.
Like it's everywhere I've ridden. It's where I've ridden the most. It's got all the photos that I've taken over the years. It also helps me find stuff as well. And even today, Alex was like, "When was the last time you came back?" I was like, "Oh man, I don't know." I know that I brought our oldest daughter back when she was 1 or 2 or 3. I don't really know. I opened this up and I went and I found the photo. I tapped on it and said 2018, so I knew it was 5 years ago. So you can use it to like find out dates of when you did stuff. How many? I don't know. We've been asked countless times, or I've thought about it. It's like, when did I do that ride? Like, I know where the ride was. I know that I did the ride. But in a list, it's like, well, most of my stuff just is, I save it as the date name is the name of the ride, or Garmin stuff syncs over as like Ottawa cycling, or Ottawa gravel cycling, or Franklin County gravel cycling, or whatever.
Yeah.
But this, you can just go, you can see your heat, and you can inspect as well, and you can just quickly find something you did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last week, or whatever. So it's a good discovery tool.
Okay.
What's a good way? It's just your right.
These are just yours, correct. And we're actually working on a way, which I'm kind of driving, the ability to share this with like your friends. So like, instead of just being like, I went on this ride, be like, look at everything I've done.
Yeah.
Check out my photos. And even be able to give you the ability, like, look at everything I did in 2022. To give you a method to like time box it.
Yeah.
To do, check out all the rides from last year, all the photos that I took from last year, and enable people to check that out, drill down into it, see, use tools like this to see, actual rides and not just the heat.
What's a good way to build a route, make it public, and show photos?
Ride it, take pictures. Just take
No, you're actually right. Well, I was
I've done that, and it's always been a pain. Sometimes it
so
works and sometimes.
you could plan a route and save it, and you can upload photos to it. So now you have a route and you have photos, but you're probably not going to have photos. Most photos photos taken on your phone have exit data, so it's like a timestamp and a lat long coordinate. But those aren't going to really match up. So it's just going to be photos off to the side. But if you record with your phone, just go record a bike ride, and take photos. We can match those things up, and we will, go open up one of your rides with photos, Alex. Then it would look exactly like. Anyway, we'll be able to geotag those photos to the exact precise location. There we go. So here we go. So if you just want to record and write photos with your phone, this is what you would end up with.
And
So I
then,
actually need to record it. One phone, one, right?
You could take the photos with your. So you could record it with the Garmin, upload it to your account.
yes,
Which is probably the best way to go by your phone and add photos.
add photos to a saved ride.
I think that's what I do.
Okay,
After
yeah.
the fact, so I can use it on my Wahoo, upload it. The
Yeah,
ride's there, then I can go and edit the ride out on my photos.
yeah. So it's kind of a lengthy
Yeah.
process, but you can still do that.
So
And your
I'll show on the
okay.
screen. So here's the app on the screen again. And
Pretend this is a list of trips from your Wahoo or your Garmin.
Mhm. And so at the bottom, I tap library, and at the top left is rides. And on each of these, there's these three dots, and I can tap that to edit the details. And then choose, then tap add photos. And these are the pictures I took on the ride, 4 at the top. So then I could add those and save them to this ride.
And
But it's pinning them based on the data on
yeah, the trip from your Garmin Wahoo would have time associated with it and location data. Photos taken on your phone would have the same focus. Yeah,
So they automatically find photos, if you click that, does that work for you when you take a photo on the ride?
yeah, we'll still ask you to confirm when you're done. Yeah.
So-
And give you the option, like maybe I don't want to save all of those selfies, I just want to save one of those selfies.
Okay.
Yeah, so be like, yeah, do you want to save?
So you can have that on, but then you can select it.
Yes, correct.
Great, okay.
So I never used my phone to record a ride. They're recording the ride on their phone in Strava or in Rider GPS?
Hopefully that's correct.
I use Ride
Yeah,
GPS, but
I
you
don't-
can record it on your Garmin and then upload it to Rider's GPS.
Okay,
And that way it stores it, and that's when you can add the
I'd
photos.
rather do that.
Yeah. So we got about 5 more minutes, and Kevin, I have one question. So there are a lot of features that you can just use, if you're just looking at a ride or whatever. But I want to give you an opportunity to talk about what the benefits of having a paid subscription is. Like, what are the features that you get when you
I mean,
do the annual?
the inspect tool for
Okay.
better discovery is in the mobile app. Voice navigation is a paid feature.
Okay.
So all the cue sheet, the turn-by-turn directions, our mobile app will read those aloud to you, similar to like a Google's driving directions.
That's really helpful.
It's really-
If that's on your phone, it doesn't really work on
Right.
your computer.
But also paid feature is downloading it for offline use. So
Okay.
plan a route, find a route, download it on your phone for offline use.
Okay.
Put your phone in airplane mode. Now you're not using battery. We are using very, very, very little battery.
Yeah.
Still launch navigation. You still have a fully functioning map. What those Unbound people should have been doing. They still would have had all the map tiles, the route, the cue sheet. Voice navigation also works on your phone in airplane mode.
Okay.
You can pair it with Bluetooth speakers, with headphones, with hearing aids, because most hearing aids now are made with Bluetooth compatible.
Okay.
So that's what we do paired to my AirPods.
Yeah.
And,
How much does it cost?
$59.99 for the mobile app. So our premium membership gets you everything, also gets you everything on the web. Our basic subscription gets you all of our free stuff on the web, and then everything in the mobile app. So all the mobile app stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
As far as the basic.
Okay.
Live tracking. So you can share your location with people in real time, and they can see your progress. If you take photos,
To me, that's worth the $59.
it's
Seriously.
nice. I've actually got my wife into it a little bit, not necessarily from the safety aspect, but if I'm like meeting her somewhere,
Right.
like we have estimated time to arrival, so she can see the estimated time of arrival that I'm going to be there. We don't have to be like, where are you? And she doesn't even have to like look at a map and try and gauge it. She can just see ETA 6:58 p.m. or whatever. And if you're navigating, then the people who are watching your live of progress, they can see the route that you're navigating, so they can just see what you're following along. If you take photos, they'll be geotagged to the exact location in real time, so people can. If you're doing Unbound tomorrow and live logging and taking photos, and people were watching you, they'd see the photos as you took them along the way. It's cool. We like live logging.
That's great.
Like live logging.
So it's $59 a year?
Yes. Mr. Prentice.
$59 a year?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was saying. Okay. Not
Yeah.
a lifetime, one time, annual.
Lower. Well, I want to wrap up the live feed, but you don't have to go anywhere. We've got cookies over here. We've got some water in there, and there's room. There might be some beer in there as well. And I want to thank these guys for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you for all
Fantastic
your
job.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be hanging around.
You.
Oh, you're
Thank you. This is the reason when he said, he's like, oh, you reached out. I was just, there was nothing like this existed when I was here. And this is just so amazing and awesome to me. It's something like this exists
Yeah.
here. I've been gone for so long that like,
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I got sucked into like,
But no, it's
just to see it evolve over
Yeah.
time. It wasn't a lot of cool stuff. We were just getting into trouble. There wasn't
Yeah.
places, there wasn't things to do, there wasn't great places to eat or whatever. And that's stuff.
Yeah.
That's really
Well, I mean, as you can see, it's created a great community, and that's, frankly, your tools help with that. I mean, it makes our life so easy. We do 2 group rides a week, and every week I'm on there, so you just send it out maps, let people know what we're doing, and it's really helpful. So, all right, well, I'm gonna wrap up the live feed, but everybody help yourself to the cookies and the beer and the water, and we'll continue to answer questions.
Is there anything? Yeah, bring it. Yeah, let us.
I know.